we envision an all-Moro assembly that will probably come later on when we have already the commitment of all Bangsamoro that like to come together. So we'd like to make this happen, but it has not yet. We're still working towards that direction of an all-Moro assembly. Because we will leave the matter to the Bangsamoro to determine what they want for themselves in accordance with their very basic aspiration of self-determination. Diba? So we leave that to the Bangsamoro to determine for themselves what they wish to do. And government will be there to support that.
Follow-up. So one question and one follow-up.
Follow-up ko lang po, yung sabi niyo po kanina na you will leave it to the Bangsamoro to determine what they want. Nakausap na po ba kayo yung mga precautionaries po, ano po yung mga paunang sabi nila kung ano po yung gusto nila?
Initially, from my talk with the MILF, I went to Camp Tarapanan, and in my talk now with the Musema group, they're all ready to converge and make all these efforts inclusive. But as you know, there are still other groups that we have to deal with or consult with for a real inclusive and a convergence of all their concerns.
Thank you. Can you please pass the mic over there? Yes, sir. One question and one follow-up.
Anong ilimit pa niyo?
Later na po, sir, another round.
Alex Lopez of Davao. Sir, does this include also talks with the group of Misuari? What's the stand for this convergence?
We look forward to meeting with Chairman Misuari, but since he is still under legal constraint because of the pendency of a case against him and the pendency of an unserved warrant of arrest, we will have to wait until such time that the way is clear, that means judicially, in order that we can meet with him. But there are already direct engagements with him through other channels, but not yet directly on a person-to-person basis because of this legal constraint that we have. But I'm informed, and it's going to happen very soon, that these legal issues will be temporarily cleared to enable a person-to-person engagement with Chairman Misuari. Even the President has been in touch with him directly by telephone, and I have been in touch with him quite regularly by telephone.
Are other groups also in open for Misuari, sir? As what you observed during your meetings with example Musema?
Well, the group of Muslim Sema committed already to convergence. It means convergence with anyone who would wish to converge with them. So that will be open to all who are willing to converge.
Thank you. Please pass the mic. Next question from Ayan, New York.
Yan, may butag, may bulto.
I'm Bulto, sir. Sir, there are two the peace agreement with MN and the MI. May mga, yung mga issues ba ng nasa MN ba, at saka MI, they will be put together?
Remember, ang MILF meron ng CAP, Comprehensive Agreement with the Bangsamoro. Hindi lang na-implement dahil hindi pumasa yung BDR. In the case of MLF, there was a tripartite review because they have still issues about implementation of the 1996 peace agreement. There are already 42 consensus points that are now parked, naka-antay lang. So that when we start working on the enabling law, they hope that all of these 42 consensus points will be converged and inputted in that possible enabling law that will be crafted. So they will be contributing towards this. And the government has organized our own government implementing panel. No longer government negotiating panel because we have already gotten the consensus of all sectors in the Bangsamoro that the period for negotiations are over. We are now in the process of implementing all these signed agreements. So Our government implementing panel is headed by Inday Santiago, as you know, you're very familiar with. I worked with her very closely before. She's very active in the advocacy sector. She will be the chair of our government implementing panel. And we expect that the MILF will also create their own implementing panel to work with us. We have also told the MNLF group of Muslim and SEMA that they're also welcome to also propose their own members of their own implementing panel. And our government panel will take care of dealing with these individual groups that they will establish so that there will be real convergence.
Sir, can you mention few points lang po, salient points on that 42 consensus points?
I'll let that be part muna. Let's not deal with that dahil mahaba yun eh. Saka, it's more of enhancing. They were actually originally done there because the tripartite review started during my time when I was still OPAC. Because there were issues that were being raised by the MNLF. Sabi ng MNLF, nag-negotiate kayo ongoing with the MILF. Meron pa nga kaming mga issues din on a signed agreement already. So I started the tripartite review. We're very glad that the tripartite review, tripartite meaning government, MNLF, and the OIC, Organization of Islamic Conference, representatives facilitating it, we came up with a tripartite review consensus points. This will all be part. Hopefully, they envision to amend the armed law code Republic Act 9054 to further enhance the autonomy there and some of the powers that are supposedly not there. But they were expecting out of the 1976 Tripoli Agreement and then in finality with the 1996 Peace Agreement.
George?
Yes, ma'am?
Good afternoon, sir. Yung pong sinabi niyo po kanina that the government is, or the president is committed to implement all agreement of the Bangsamoro, sir. Yung po bang CAB at saka yung tripartite ng MNLF at MILF, yung po ba yung magiging ma-approve na? Pag sinabi natin committed na yung presidente na i-approve yung lahat ng Bangsamoro Agreement, ito na bang CAB, wala na po siyang change at all?
Hindi. Kailangan na mag-convert sila dahil i-input pa nila yung output ng tripartite review, i-input pa nila yung pertinent provisions ng CAB. Dahil may mga provisions doon na common eh, nandyan na. At may provisions na nasa 9054 armed law that probably are not addressed by both agreements, although I doubt very much kung mayroon pang gap doon. But the idea is to converge all these provisions together into one enabling law that will already establish and entrench the Bangsamoro governance unit to replace the present armed natin, 9054.
Okay, Ben Teshorna from CNN.
Ben.
Sir, there's this scheduled meeting, I think, at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Yes.
Over the weekend. What do you hope to achieve on that?
There is a meeting on August 13 in Kuala Lumpur. This is actually to launch the implementation stage of what we envision to be eventually a Bangsamoro enabling law. It is to implement the CAP that was signed between the government and the MILF that was not implemented because the BBL, the implementing mechanism, did not pass. But this will be the launching of an implementation stage that will not only exclusively be to implement the CAP, but also the agreements that we signed with the MNLF in the 1996 Peace Agreement to include possibly the 42 consensus points as a result of the tripartite review. And other inputs that may come from all sectors coming from the Bangsamoro that may not have been considered by the two agreements. We will be discussing with the MILF panel how we are going to move forward. Also, we would like to formally brief the Malaysians on our roadmap under the Duterte administration. Remember, the Malaysians have contributed enormously in the negotiation stage. And so, therefore, we thought it fitting that we give them that due recognition for their contribution to our peace efforts by launching the implementation stage in Kuala Lumpur.
So sir, we don't expect any hitches. Parang formalities lang yung mangyayari.
Meron kaming business meetings after the formality of the launching. We will spend, I think, a day or two to already look at the details of what we intend to do together.
More questions? Ms. Carol or Julius from In the News.
Ay, kuya na. Wala. Oh. Kabalo man na siya sa answer ba, pero mutanan yun na siya. Sige, go ahead, Tita.
Clarify lang. That Kuala Lumpur is really just between government and MILF, right?
It's the launching of, and we have invited our donor partners and foreign governments who are interested.
The MNLF will not be represented in that list.
The MLF, if they wish to come, they're free to come. It's open to everyone. But this is with regard to the implementation stage of the CAP.
I-clarify ko lang kasi that the other few days ago you told me it will not be called implementing panel but just GPH panel and MILF panel.
Correct.
But now you're saying it's GPH implementing panel. Which is which now?
I think it's in your mind where the confusion lies. It's very clear that the government has organized its own government implementing panel. It's chaired by Inday Santiago. We expect that the MILF will also create its own implementing panel.
So it's not going to be joint anymore, right? It's
No,
going
no,
to be
no.
separate.
It started, the original plan was to hold it joint. But there was no fixed thing, you know. We discussed this with you because we're very open. Initially, we thought of a joint, but then after meeting with Kagi Murad, we thought it best because if it is joint, then it will be an exclusive MILF GRP. But what about the MNLF? Because we're also dealing with them. So we're creating the government implementing panel to deal already with the MILF implementing panel. If the MNLF wishes to, they can also organize their implementing panel with whom we can deal with.
But the MNLF, as we all know, has several factions. So will there be separate panels for MNLF Semo?
We don't know
MNLF
yet.
Nor,
We don't know yet. In fact, the first meeting we had was to explore a possibility that they can also resolve their internal factions in the MNLF. So it is still work in progress. Right now, we just formally met with them and got all the inputs coming from the SEMO group. And so we're still going to work on the other faction, which is Nur Miswari's group. But we cannot deal with him on a person-to-person basis unless we clear up yung kanyang legal constraint.
Last na lang, the President has repeatedly said in his campaign and even as President that he wants the historical injustices committed against the Bangsamoro corrected, right? So, the Transitional Commission and TJRC, Transitional Justice Commission, already recommended the creation of a national TJRC on the Bangsamoro. But this was not implemented under the Aquino administration. How soon will you, the third administration, set this up?
It's a recommendation. So right now we have not yet acted on that recommendation. But be sure that consistent with the position of the President where he says we would like to address the historic injustice suffered by the Bangsamoro, then that commission can very well be the mechanism. But I'm not saying it now because we have yet to look at it very closely. The TJRC group had already submitted their closure report, and after we have already worked on all these other details on convergence, and as we move forward later on, we'd like to take a look at closely the recommendations.
Thank you, Ms. Ruth Palo Dumandan, and then Ms. Ayan.
Okay, Secretary, since you had a meeting with the Muslimin SEMA, may we know what was exactly the commitment given to you by SEMA? Yes.
Just give you the general, because I'm not at liberty to disclose, because these were done in closed door. There was a very clear commitment of convergence, that they'd like to converge with any and all group in order to bring about an inclusive Bangsamoro enabling law. Yun ang pinaka-clear na commitment ng grupo nila.
Okay, sir, do you have timeline for the meetings at MNLN? And how soon is meetings?
As soon as possible talaga yan. Hindi lang namin makausap na directly personally si Chairman Lumiswari because we still have to get that legal constraint clear. But we are in touch with him, and we're in touch with his group, and we're making discussions, but we need to sit down with him person to person to take this up in great detail. It will happen as soon as this issue about his being facing a warrant of arrest is clear around the way.
Lastly, Secretary, are we eyeing for possible reconciliation between factions now with MNLF leadership?
Oh, the reconciliation amongst the Bangsamoro is something for them to work out. They have to work it out among themselves, amongst these different factions. And that's the general message I gave to the group of Muslim and SEMA that met with me the whole morning. We recognize that there is a Nur Miswari group and there is a SEMA group. And we say, we'll all just have to leave it with you in order to address these groupings within your own organization. But we would wish that they're able to resolve this.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Ms. Ayan. Please pass the mic.
Sir, on another issue, it's barely 2 weeks to the scheduled resumption of peace talks with NDF. May we know the plans now after some undertones for the past days about the ultimatums of the President and and the release of some of the members of NDF?
The schedule still remains the same. We are going to meet with them. August 22 is the set date for the meeting with them in Oslo, Norway. So all preparations are towards this formal resumption of negotiations with the CPP, NPA, and the F. And we're ready to take that trip to make that thing happen. So, things are ongoing. Yung mga, sabi yung mga incidents in between, as you know, traveling the peace road is not a well-paved road, as I have said. There will be humps and bumps along the way, but we'll stay the course. The issues about the so-called ultimatum was in reference to the use of landmines, diba? And the President made his statement very clear.
Do you expect more members of the NDF panel to be released?
Oh, we're working on the release of the first batch of CPP, NPA, and their members who are needed in the negotiations and in the resumption. Since they have to be released on the basis of the judicial processes, we were able already to secure the release temporarily of 3 of them from the Supreme Court's order. Those whose cases are not pending with the Supreme Court, naturally the Supreme Court cannot rule on them. So they had recommended that we thresh this out with the local regional trial courts where this case is pending. And right now, our efforts are now directed at dealing with the judicial processes in the local regional trial courts. And we're very hopeful that we could get them ready, best efforts for the August 22 formal opening.
Sir, August 22, 20, di ba, sir? Why?
20 originally, pero may travel changes. So the last word we got was 22 would be the official resumption. Yung 20 na yan, this will be the dates devoted to travel to Norway from the Philippines.